Hello and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group as well as the Bradford Group Consulting, and I am so excited to have another amazing author here on our platform, Miss Toni S. Winston. Toni, how's it going?
It is wonderful. Couldn't be better. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for saying yes. I know your schedule is very busy and we've had a challenge getting this done, but here we are on
Yes,
Women's History Month. So I think it worked perfectly, right?
yes. Good, great timing. Always great timing.
Yes. Well, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, what Power the Pen is designed to do is to showcase and spotlight women and their voices through the power of the pen. We want to challenge you to open up your mind as it relates to being entertained, being educated, being uplifted, and inspired as we journey in this conversation with Miss Toni. And the book we're going to talk about today is She CEO Let's Go. Remove the excuses and stand in your power. How appropriate for Women's History Month. Yes?
Yes, yes, very much so.
Well, Toni, one thing I loved about this book, it's a collaborative book, and each author was able to showcase their experience in business and in life. And you took us through a journey of discovery, resiliency, and recovery.
Yes.
And before we go into that, I want you to just tell us what made you say, you know what, it's now time for me to write my story.
Well, we all have those pivotal moments in our lives where, we've had some challenges, we've come through them, we are better for it. And I felt like it was an appropriate time to encourage another person's heart. I am an encourager by nature. And when the opportunity came up for me to participate in this collaboration, I said, okay, I do have something I want to say, especially to the women out there who started businesses late in life and those who are starting businesses every day. You need that encouragement. And that particular collaboration was so much fun. I pulled a lot of things out of me that I I generally do not tell people about. But that's one thing about being an encourager. You don't worry about how people are going to feel about your story in terms of you being embarrassed, but you show your resiliency where you get out there, you scrape your knees a little bit, you've fallen on your face, but you've gotten up, dust yourself off, and you're encouraging others to do the same. And I feel real good about it.
Well, I love that. As you are an encourager, I'm an exhorter. And so I want to take a moment to tell our audience about your amazing journey in life. You are a best-selling author. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
this is one of your books. So
Yeah.
you have multiple books under your belt. You're also a speaker, a teacher, an educator, and a travel expert, as well as a serial entrepreneur. And I understand that congratulations is in order because you're about to start your own television show. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
That's great. What's the name of the show?
Queen Dynasty
Queen
TV.
Dynasty, Queen Dynasty TV. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that is what's so amazing. So in your journey, you started off telling us about this little girl growing up in the simple country life in Sylacauga, Alabama. And your discovery journey began with Encyclopedia Britannica. And for those of you thinking, what is that? Well, that was our internet back in the day.
Yeah, that was our Google.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about that journey, and what was it about what you saw in the encyclopedia that really sparked who you are today? I think further added to your genius, but also helped you to journey in your entrepreneurship.
Reading. My mother was a reader. My dad read paper and just about everything else. But my mother read a lot of books. I think my mother basically missed her calling. My mother probably could have been one of the best accountants or teachers in the whole wide world because I saw her with a book in her hand when I was a child. And my parents wanted me to be a good student. And the library at that time was really not all that great. We were not really welcomed at the local library. So my parents felt like it was a good idea to invest their hard-earned money into the black and white copies of the Encyclopedia Britannica. I was 9 years old. I'll never forget it. The salesman came by the house. I don't even remember how much my father paid for them, but I know that they were like gold because my mother would make me wash my hands before I would touch those beautiful black and white glossy pages. And it was for me to get my homework, do my research, but I am an adventurous kind of person. I will look at the pictures and just immediately imagine where I could be looking at those pictures. And I will never forget looking at a picture of the Eiffel Tower. And it touched my heart when I was 9 years old. And it's still touching my heart till today. It is my ultimate dream to get to Paris. You know that. That is on my bucket list. And God willing, we're going in September.
Well, I'll be joining you. But isn't that amazing? So I want to pause for a moment in what you said. At 9 years old, you were impressed upon by this image. That at that time you didn't know how it was going to place such an imprint on you that it started to shift how you traverse life.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point that you are now sharing the world of exploration, the world of integrating cultures with many people around the world. And your calling is especially for women, and you said divorced women.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, divorces, I'm going to be honest. I got married when I was 45 years old, and I thought it was going to be forever. And divorce can be very, 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 very debilitating. It can be very painful. And needless to say, mine was. And it didn't have to be that way, but I do understand now. I'm older, emotionally, physically, I'm wiser, spiritually. I understand. But we have to take these things that happen to us, especially like divorce, and we have to excel, do better than you've ever done before. And the biggest thing that happened to me was about 2.5 years after I was divorced, a really good friend introduced me to travel, and it changed my life. I always say travel can fix your life. And that's a title of a book that I've been really thinking about here lately.
Well, one of your quotes is travel to be free to travel. Did I get that right?
Yes, ma'am. And that's been copyrighted. Yes, ma'am. I'm getting ready to trademark it.
What is it about travel? Because again, this story that you wrote is taking us through a journey,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's a life. It's an emotional journey. It's a growth. It's a maturation. As you said, it's an awareness that you're sharing with us. But the tie that binds is this little spark or seed that was planted at 9 years old
Mm-hmm.
that has now just blossomed into this massive oak tree saying, travel, travel, travel.
Yes.
Um, tell us how you decided as an author which pieces of your life to share, because we often tell people write about what you know,
Mhm.
And we tell women that it's so important for us to find our voice. But sometimes we're so used to hiding behind that mask, Toni, that, and we're used to being that imposter that we give just a little snippet,
Right.
but not the heart. But when I read your chapter, I saw Toni. I saw the joy. I saw the pain. I
Yes.
saw the warrior. I saw the victor, right? And then I saw the
Yes.
dreamer come back.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to add one more, the queen.
The
The
queen,
queen.
yes.
Yes, ma'am. Because the one thing I learned as a child, having both sets of my grandparents until I was 17, they were very, very strong Christian people. Both my grannies, my grandma and my big mama, they were very, very strong women. They were married and they respected my grandfathers, but they had a voice in the house. And that encouraged me as well. Not that they were saying anything ugly to them, they respected them, but they had a voice in the house. And I remember both of them teaching me Bible verses and telling me that you can do anything you put your mind to because God is there and God will bless you to be whatever you want to be. And I believed it and I still believe it to this day. And there is nothing that we can do to ourselves that we cannot recover from. And that's one of the things that I wanted to show in my book. Even though I had a hard time, we all do, we have challenges. I'm not saying that nobody's living this easy life, but you cannot let it knock you down to the point where you don't get back up and do
Yes.
something with that.
I love that. I want to read something in your book. You said I could dream about traveling the world. As I got older, the dream was pushed firmly in the back of my mind because I did not think I could travel.
Mhm.
Me, a Black girl who was educated on the hill and paid below my skill levels at my first corporate job.
Mhm.
I can't travel. I used to watch as coworkers would take their vacations and come back with a scrapbook full of pictures and tan bodies. At that time, I had no idea that I could do it too.
Mhm.
I really wasn't really educated that I could do it too. I was so envious. I thought you needed thousands of dollars to travel the world. I made bad mistakes with the funds I had. I was so caught up in trying to fit in with my so called friends in the corporate world. I forgot about some of the most important principles that I was taught, such as pay your 10% in tithes to the Lord, as well as 10% to yourself,
Yes.
live below your means, and save for a rainy day.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh yeah. That came from Big Mama. Big Mama always carried a purse when she was out, and she always had a little pretty lacy handkerchief with $100 bill in it that she'd saved from, the household money that Big Daddy had given her. She raised 14 children. My mama was number 5. And I saw her do some amazing things with a little bit of money and determination. I should have written in there that I let myself talk me out of my faith and my determination. That's what we have to have. You have to have enough faith to believe that you can do something and that God will clear your path and make sure that if it is in his will, you can do it. But also, too, I am a firm believer that God will give you some of the things that you want. May not be everything that you need. You know what I mean? He'll give you everything you need and some of the things you want. Excuse me, I said that the wrong way.
Yes.
But I also know that if you don't believe in you first, how can you get anyone else to believe in you? And you cannot let not one circumstance make you forget that.
That right there was powerful. To our listening audience, we are here with best-selling author, speaker, teacher, major influencer in the travel arena, Miss Toni S. Winston. And we're talking about her chapter in the collaborative book, She CEO, Let's Go, Remove the Excuses and Stand in Your Power. And Toni, you are so right. Sometimes we get so into our head.
Mhm.
We allow those little demons and limited beliefs to get in our way, right?
Right.
And we find ourselves doing what this is telling us not to do. We finding those excuses, right? Because
Yes.
any excuse will do.
Yes. Yes. I heard a quote by Giselle Bunsen on the Today Show a few years ago. She had written a book about, I think it was postpartum depression when she was pregnant with one of her children. And she said, you have to be so very careful with your mind. Your mind is an instrument. And if you're not careful, it will play you. And there are some days when I am thinking about something a little bit too hard and I let my mind go, because you do have to have some control over your mind. Because if not, you'll be thinking things you have no business thinking. And if you're thinking, I can't get up out of bed today, you won't. I can't walk to the mailbox to get my mail, you won't. I'm serious. These are things that keep people bound. If you tell yourself, I think I can, I know I will, and then put feet to your faith, you can do it. You can do it.
You know what you're saying. So I want to go back to where you said you were dreaming about travel. But then you said as you got older, that dream was pushed firmly back. And I think what you were just explaining to us is we can get in our own way, that
Yes.
there is purpose that's intended for us. But out of fear, out of life's ash and trash, we come up with that excuse of why things are the way they are, rather than, as you said, being really accountable and responsible about what I'm thinking about, what I'm going to focus on,
Right.
and be intentional, right, about
Mm.
living purposefully.
Oh,
And
yes.
for you, it's that travel. And I would like you to talk a little bit about this, because you and I've shared how, from a very simplistic lens, people can say, well, yes, I travel because I like to go on vacation and experience new things. You travel and you're in the travel business because you use the term like connecting cultures.
Hmm.
And this month's theme, International Women's History, the theme for this year is breaking the bias. And when you help to be that conduit to intersect cultures,
Hmm.
to create avenues of awareness, of expanded experiences, you're helping people to hashtag break the bias.
Yes.
That's pretty powerful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, being from a very small town, 50 miles south of Birmingham, I mean, people getting out of there and getting out of that mindset, going to college, dreaming of being financially secure and seeing the world was part of the reasons why I wanted to leave home and go to college. But as I stated in the book, I did let some things, circumstances pull me back and they had me bound. But let me tell you something. Meeting people like you and some of the other ladies that I've met through you networking and seeing people who have had extreme things happen to them and they're still thriving. It encouraged my heart so much more for me to get out here and continue to encourage other women as well. Let me say something to you, LaWanna. I worked in corporate for almost 40 years doing something I didn't like. I'm just going to be very honest. I was a human resources professional because I love people, but I hated that job. It did not bring me joy. But you and
Mm.
I both know that when we're talking about travel and some of the places where we have been, you tell me about your Italy experience because you were raised there. What happens to my face? I cannot
Right out.
stop smiling because that is my wheelhouse. And when I realized that I cheated, I'm going to say it, I cheated myself all of those years thinking I could not do this. And the simplest thing in the world was just pick up the phone back then, call somebody, find out exactly how much it will cost. Because even back then they had payment plans like we do today. Everything is affordable as long as you have the knowledge. Knowledge is power. That is something that those two words we cannot wear out. Three words, excuse me. Knowledge is power. And you cannot sit around and watch TV and watch your life leave you without experiencing something that you love to do. And me, you guys know what I always tell you. I'm going to be at the international terminal at Hartsfield Jackson Airport. Deuces. I'm out. And that's what I'm getting ready to go back to doing. COVID stopped a little bit of that, but it
Yes.
encouraged my heart to do it even more now.
One of the things that I liked that even, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, but you found creative ways to still let people know you were still relevant, to help people tap into their dreams of where they wanted to travel, doing different little mini vignettes and just fun things. What would
Yes.
you like to say to those that are listening where they may feel a little stuck or maybe just overwhelmed and don't know how to recharge themselves with their dream?
Guys, I do understand everyone has their level of getting out. But if you are wherever you live, if you cannot get in your car and take a nice, what I call a Sunday drive to a nice spot that makes you happy. Here, I live in Powder Springs, Georgia. Down the street in Dallas, there is a nice waterfall that I like to drive to. Sometimes I don't get out of the car. I just pull up, sit there, and just breathe. Inhale, exhale. As my friend likes to say, exhale me, inhale God. Exhale me, inhale God. Find a spot, even if it's in your house. There are spaces in your home that is your little spot for you to be you. A lot of people don't take the time to do that and they miss themselves. During the pandemic, I really found out who I really, really was because I spent so much time here in this office, in my house, and I really had to keep myself from getting depressed because we were not able to get out and get a little sun on our face and interact with our family and friends. And it just was so daunting and woe is me and blah, 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 and so many deaths. But thanks be to God that I was strong enough to fight through all of that darkness and start looking at what I could do to not only help myself, but help other people. We live in the metro Atlanta area. This is one of the biggest areas in the South, and it's so busy. But there are so many nice little cubbies. I call them little cubby holes. You can go and get a nice hamburger, a glass of wine. Believe it or not, there is a little winery here in Hiram, Georgia. Everybody runs up to Chateau Elon, but there's a nice little place here in Hiram. There's a nice little dessert place in Douglasville. And there are a lot of places you can go where you don't have to worry about being near other people if that's something that you don't want to do. You just have to get outside yourself, remain faithful and strong, and put your best foot forward and embrace life and live it to the fullest.
I love what you said, taking us through that mantra and reflection and meditation of exhaling me,
Yeah.
and inhaling God, and just allowing yourself to sit in that. And when you're inhaling, it's like that breath is life force, right?
Yes. Yes.
And it's helping you to center. And you're right, with the pandemic, it forced us to be quiet in a very unique and different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be shocked if there's anyone out there that didn't have some modicum of self-discovery and self-awareness during that time. So something clicked, something shifted. I believe that the world has forever changed on a spiritual level because of this. And going back to your chapter, this was a spiritual journey for you. Mm-hmm. Again, there was an awakening, and then there was a coming back to your truth. And now you're saying, this is me, and this is how I'm going to go forward. Yep. And this is how I'm going to share my message and give hope and inspiration to other people.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to take myself down in a moment so that you can talk to our audience and tell them a little bit more about what you do, because it's not just you traveling or helping others to travel, but I understand that you have learned how to monetize the travel experience.
Oh, yes, yes. Guys, I just want to let you know, if travel is on your mind and if it's something that you want to do, don't go to sleep on it. It is a great opportunity. And if you want to partner with me, please contact me. I would love that. I'm just going to tell you guys that travel has brought me completely full circle. What I mean by that is I have been able to pay off a lot of debt with travel. I've been able to go to some amazing places, pennies on the dollar. And I've met some amazing people from every walk of life. It is just a shot in the arm just to get out there and see all different kinds of people in all different areas of the world. God has truly created some beautiful places, and it is up to us to get out there and experience it. I can't tell you how my life has changed. I think you probably remember me saying at the beginning of the broadcast that I am thinking about writing a book called Travel Can Fix Your Life. I get so excited just looking at different places to go and imagining taking people with me. I will be taking a very large group to Paris in September, and so many of the ladies and gentlemen who I've spoke with who wants to travel with us are very, very excited. You know, it's very, very contagious to travel, see the world, and take your friend or family with you. And that's what I love about travel. It doesn't discriminate. Travel is for everybody who wants to do it. I don't get concerned about how long I have to wait for my plane or anything like that, because I'm a reader. I always have a book on my phone, you know, comfortable, and just get up and do it. If you are thinking about traveling and you want to use travel as a way to monetize or supplement your income, this is the best way to do it. And what I like about it is that you can always encourage and help someone else do the same. Share it. Travel is the number one industry in the world, and no matter what goes on, people will never, ever stop traveling. I just want to thank you guys for this opportunity, for being here. I am Toni Winston, and I am affectionately known as the Freedom Travel Diva, because travel will free you. Travel to be free to travel, but also travel will fix your life.
I love that, Toni. This has been so great. I want to encourage all of you to continue to follow Power the Pen every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on E360 TV under the Fresh Starts channel. And if you want to be featured as an author, reach out, DM me, or send me an email at LaWanna@bradfordgroup.com, and we will get you on the show. Toni, before we go, I want to ask you one other question. You said God fulfilled his promise of keeping me covered. My journey hasn't been without challenges, but I know with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about what having that spiritual anchor has meant to you and continues to mean to you in life?
Oh my gosh. There's no way I could have accomplished anything getting this far. I am just grateful to wake up every morning at 61 years old and just feeling good every day and encouraging someone who will call me and say, girl, I need to tell you about what happened to me, blah, 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 blah. And the first thing out of my mouth is, before you say anything, let's pray. Let's talk to God about it. Because I do believe that we don't need to wallow in it. We need to release it to God, let it go, and live our best life. I hate that tagline to a certain degree, but I believe it wholeheartedly that if people find out what really makes them happy and get to doing that, we will not have so many sad, different types of situations that are happening in our world right now. And I just believe that if you believe in yourself, believe in the power of the Holy Spirit and God, there's nothing you can't do. Nothing. Nothing.
I love it. Well, to our listening audience, you've heard it here. You've been introduced to another amazing best-selling author, Miss Toni Winston, who is also the intersect of cultures with her expertise in travel. Please reach out to her at Toni@freedomtraveldiva.com. You can get her book on Amazon.com as well. She's CEO. Let's go. Remove the excuses and stand in your power. And let's stay tuned, because I think there's another book about to come out.
Yep. Can't wait. I'm excited.
Well,
and LaWanna,
Toni,
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the Power of the Pen. And to our listening audience, just remember that within each of us, we have a unique voice, a unique imprint that is designed to be shown to the world. Get away from fear. Get out of your mind. Use the power of the pen. Use the power of your voice. And believe that when your vision intersects with opportunity, just like Miss Toni Winston here, success and your dreams are inevitable. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Barbara, how's it going?
Hello, hello.
Well, here we are back on another Sunday where we are, lights a little bright there, talking about power of the pen.
Yes.
And we have the amazing Toni S. Winston, bestselling author. Her book, She's CEO, Let's Go, Remove the Excuse and Stand in Your Power. So when you heard, excerpts of the book and the interview, what was your kind of takeaway? Because as I mentioned, it was, even though it was a collaborative book, and collaborative books are, as we know, are very powerful because it takes collective messages that have the same kind of theme or vision to create transformation, change. And hers was from journey to freedom. So the story of discovery, resilience, and recovery.
Yes. Yes. And what I loved about it, because I think I was thinking about me too. She sits in the seat of a lot of other ladies that's been in corporate like myself, and saying, you know what, I'm discovering that I want to be my CEO, as it says in the book. I want to be doing what my brand. I want people to see what I'm doing. I want to see my purpose out there, as I always say to people. And she said, I'm doing it, and she did it. She's like, I'm making my mind up, and she went for it. So the biggest takeaway is to always remember that, just do what you really feel in your heart and your soul that you need to do to make you happy. Because when she says she'd been in the business for, corporate for all those years and she wasn't happy, that's not good. I like I said, I felt her on that one. Really did.
That's huge. So we're here in Women's History Month, and one of the things is really challenging us. We often hear people say, "Oh, expand to the best version of you. Remove the mask. Stand in your power. Have your voice." But she just said she spent her entire career doing something she did not enjoy. So our listening audience, you're here with Barbara Beckley, and I am LaWanna Bradford. Barbara Beckley, best-selling authors and co-founders of Celebrate You Women Embracing Wellness, as well as CEOs of our own independent businesses. And we are here on Authors Corner to talk about our perspective as it relates to authors we are interviewing, as well as give you some tips. So Barbara, go ahead and get back into that conversation about, because you're the big purpose person, right?
Yeah.
It that I'm noticing, right?
Oh, sorry. Repeat that.
Coming back to the purpose.
Yeah. It's and it's so important, because I always tell people, just to get a little bit, like you said, I talk about purpose, but just to put this out there real quickly, I always tell myself that's the foundation for you, because I feel like if you always remember what your true purpose is supposed to be, if it's in your business, if it's in your working in a, with another business, or, you're at home with the kids or whatever it is, that you don't want to lose that aspect. So if you start straying away or saying, well, maybe I can't have my own business, or maybe I really, I was thinking about it, but oof, some people said, no, you better not do that. You're gonna leave your job. You've been there for so long, and you know how that goes. But then you have to go back to, well, what do you, not what they're talking about. So, well, what do you? Yeah, they're giving you, I understand. You have to, you listen and get the information, but go back to what you wanted to do, because you're going to live your true life and they're going to do what they're going to do. So that's what I always tell people. I said, yeah, it's easy to say do it, and then they walk away and they do their own life. But now you're sitting there like, okay, they told me to do that, but now I'm not feeling comfortable in me. So yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to just echo this again. And life isn't guaranteed. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed is probably a better way of saying that. And we know that life is short in the span of time. So what are you doing with your each and every day, and why are you not living your best version of you by doing what you love and enjoy, what brings you passion, what brings you purpose? I mean, can you imagine the doors of opportunity that would open for women around the world, Barbara, if they were doing exactly what they were designed to do and
Mm-hmm.
exercising those gifts and talents?
So true. So true. And, you know, I was just thinking, just to add to that, is, you know, the book also, you know, what Toni was talking about, you know, removing excuses and standing in your power. And that is so powerful, because just the littlest things can be those excuses. Sometimes
Mhm.
excuse be, well, I don't know how to do it, or I didn't know how to start a corporation, or I don't know what to do with branding. Well, guess what? You ask questions. You go to people that do know. If you really want it, you know what I'm talking about. If you really want it, then you're going to go and find out about what you need to know so you can stand in that power. Don't deflate the power by saying, I don't know, so that's it. No, it's so, that's why, so we always talk about, you know, going to collaboration a little bit, but that's why we talk about collaboration, because you can pull from others, especially, you know, we're talking about women history month. You think all ladies that are in the history books did it all on their own? No. Do you think they knew it all? No, they reached out. So that's what we need to continuously saying to ourselves. Don't stop it. Don't make excuses because you say you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So we have just a few minutes for our tip of the day, and it's, do you know your audience? And this tip is for you authors who are out there. I know it, and I'm going to pass it to Barbara as I give the intro, but we all get excited about our message. And the key is we're looking for those platforms, those soapboxes, if you will, that we can stand out and reach an even greater audience. But I want to challenge you with this question. When you're asked to come and interview on a particular stage, or speak on a stage, interview on a podcast, a social media broadcast, or radio show, TV, whatever that modality is, you're excited. We get that. You're honored that someone thought about you. But did you pause before you said yes to ask one simple question? Who is the audience? Barbara.
Very important, because going back to what LaWanna said, you wrote a chapter or you wrote a book, either or, if you want a collaboration book or your own book, and it was talking about a certain item that you were talking about, and then you get called in, you know, podcasts or whatever, and you're like, yay, and you get on there, and there's fishermen all on there, but then maybe you're talking about purpose. Now, I mean, it might work, or you know, it might be a different gender or what have you. So the excitement is wonderful, and I get it, because you're trying to now take your message that you put in your book out there so people understand it more. But if you're not in front of your right audience, then there's going to be some chat that, like I said, it's not strategically done. Let's just say that.
And the other thing is, you want to create a win-win relationship. See, you're on someone's platform because it's hopefully adding value to them and their listening audience. So that's the give that you're getting. But the takeaway, again, the win-win component, is there something that you're able to get. So identifying why you even want to be there, number one. But if it is, I want to broaden my reach, keep it simple, then, and does it matter? You know, I'll just do a shotgun approach. I just want the world to know this particular message. Maybe that could be your piece. But if it's a very clear message and it's targeted, for example, targeted toward middle-aged women who are divorced and who are called the sandwich generation. Divorced women who are sandwiched between caring for their children and caring for aging parents. That's your target audience. But then you get on Barbara's platform, and her target audience are millennials. Or you know, or let's not even say millennials. They're the Gen Zers. They're just starting in life. But again, your target audience is women who are divorced, that are about to retire, but are sandwiched into caring for children and aging parents. That's a very specific niche. So it's great you're on Barbara's show and you're talking to the millennials and the Gen Zers, and they're listening to your messages saying that's great, but I don't relate to you because that's not where I am in my life's journey. So that's just a simple example that, again, it's great to get on as many platforms as you can, but it doesn't hurt to just ask a simple question: who is my audience? Who will I be speaking to?
Yeah.
And you may find out that's not the right. It's not the right audience. And I've been there. I've done that. I often share, Barbara, where I was on a show, and this is on with my my mortgage company, and I was on there talking about women and their mortgage and mortgage wellness and understanding about all of that. And the show that I was on aired in a state that I don't do business. So great. It created awareness because now they know, more about these tactics you could use. But as far as what it gave me, nothing, because I can't serve those people other than provide information. Whereas if I had had the conversation, I would have said, oh, this is great. Would love to talk to them, but this is perhaps not the best platform for me because I can't service your community. If they wanted to do business with me, I can't service other than doing a free, consult or something. But if I'm looking to get business and to be that trusted advisor, this is not the place for me. So,
yeah.
Anything you want to add before we close out? We've got upcoming trainings in April.
Yeah, so I just want to remind everybody, we are really, because like you said, we really want you to understand it's just not writing that, that book, and then that's it. That's all she wrote. There's a meaning. There was really something powerful that got you to that point that said, I'm going to put pen to paper. And just like how this whole process that LaWanna has is power of the pen. So you want to put that power out there. So we're going to be doing some mini trainings and master trainings in the month of April. So we're getting them all set up and ready to go. And me and LaWanna has been, waiting to share, the information that we have for you. So look forward. We're going to be having some dates that's going to be coming up in April. Just to let you know, just from, something that we talked about today. This piece, what we're talking about, do you know your audience, is just a small tip of a lot of other things we're going to be talking about in the mini classes and the master classes. So look forward to those dates coming soon.
Yes. I want to put that, just put that up here. I'll let you continue to talk for just a minute, Barbara, while I type this in.
So yeah, and then also remind everybody, every Sunday, if you haven't noticed, every Sunday, LaWanna Bradford, Power of the Pen comes on 1:00 Central Time, 2:00 Eastern Time. I know the times changed to last night, so I'm kind of just remembering, but it's the same. So come on, see if you are interested in being part of the interview with LaWanna, the discussion regarding your book, Amazon bestseller book. Just reach out to LaWanna or myself, and we'll make sure that you get the information to basically event you so you are able to come on her show if it's a good fit. And also, just to let everybody know too, if you are interested, okay, thank you. So complimentary and paid masterclass over, yes. So yeah, just again, like we said earlier, there's going to be some complimentary and paid master classes available. And these classes are really trainings, first to understand, the visibility of getting your message. And it's all about your message. When you put pen to paper, it's a message that you're putting out, and you just want to get it to the world in any kind of aspect. So we're going to give you those kind of tips to look at that, not just, the visibility, but other aspects to make sure that you are taking on that book wherever, how high it can go within your world.
One of the things, so just to give you a little bit of background about us, Barbara and I decided to do this because of what was lacking in our area. And Barbara, I'm going to take myself down for a moment and let you talk about that.
Well, one thing that what I noticed that we was lacking, I say lacking, this was a challenge for me and LaWanna, is that we were in books, we were writing books, either collaboration books or our own. And then we would write the book, be published, came a Amazon bestseller, some of them international. And then we're like, now what? Now what do you do? This is too important to just have it sit in a book. And I know some of my books that I did a few years ago, they were sitting in the garage, just there. And I was thinking to myself, okay, this is not right. This is not good. I have golden nuggets that I want to give to the world and let them hear about my stories. Let them hear that there's hope. I just didn't write the book just to say I'm an author. And LaWanna just didn't write a book just to say she was author. There was a purpose behind it. You want to leave, this is the point we want to leave a legacy. So we were like, what kind of ways or what do we need to find out to get that message out after the power of the pen, after you write the power of pen? So we made sure that we kind of analyzed, looked at different things, like getting on, like we're talking about knowing your audience, knowing how to repurpose, knowing, certain people you need to talk to get really into what you're doing. Just like the one I had example earlier about, if you're dealing with women that are divorced and middle-aged, making sure that you're connecting. So myself and LaWanna did a lot of the research and a lot of the experience through what we went through to say we want to make sure that not just ourselves understand how to use that book in another way instead of just writing it and keeping it to the side, but we wanted to make sure also that other women that's writing their books knew how to present themselves moving forward and just after publishing and becoming a best-selling, Amazon bestseller. Because there's more to that than this, just having that and just stop right there. Oh,
Exactly, Barbara. And I do want to preface, this isn't for every author. These trainings, it's not. It's because some people write because it's a bucket list thing that you want to check off, and you do. We get that. But this is for individuals that want to go beyond the book and what that really means and digging into it. So this is really a strategy sessions. It's giving you those golden nuggets to begin to create a plan for yourself, both short term and long term. It's customizable for you. So don't think of it as this generalistic kind of training. The free components gives you some of the general broad stroke, but when we get into the specifics as far as a master class, that is when you're customizing your plan, that voice, amplifying that voice and what it means in so many different lanes, and where you ultimately want that impact to go, whether perhaps it's a key message and later your long-term vision is to tie it to some political aspirations that you have. Well, how do you path that to success? So again, it's more than just a general component. And Barbara, I'm going to put myself on mute right now because I have technicians here, and I'll let you close us out.
Okay. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for being part of Power of the Pens series today, listening to Toni, Winston, and LaWanna. And also the Author's Corner, as we do right after we have the interviews, just to give you some summary of that. And then also introducing you to different tips, what we did today, and looking forward to doing those trainings that we have in April. So with that, again, I just want to repeat too, if you're interested, again, in coming on Power of the Pen, please reach out to LaWanna Bradford, and she'll make sure, to get you the information to get that going. And also you can reach out to me too, because I will make sure that, if either way, between me and LaWanna, we will get in contact with you. So with that, we are going to end it for today.